Well, we got some cool cars that are going to be crossing the block tomorrow. One of them is a tribute, a clone for the Back to the Future car. That's right, the DeLorean. And it's really cool to talk about the fact that DeLorean itself is kind of going back to the future in a different way. Right, Murph?
It is indeed, Rick. You know, it's one of the most iconic and infamous auto brands in history, despite its limited production run, which actually ceased in 1982. Now, I had the opportunity to talk with Troy Beetz, one of the key architects of a team that built out a timeline of the last 40 years of DeLorean models, culminating in this new one, the Alpha 5, and thrusting the company back into the zeitgeist.
Well, the original incarnation, obviously, the first representation was in 1981. That particular icon deserves to be an icon that's represented in the time period it was released. There were an extension of the DeLorean brand that went past the DMC-12. And for the most part, that was at that point called the DMC-24. The only way that we could continue is to reimagine had DeLorean stayed, what types of vehicles it would have created in the last 40 years. Alpha 5 can now take some of the DNA from each one of those, and that's the car it is today.
Tell me about this idea of DeLorean and the future of mobility.
The connected part of DeLorean is going to be sense, which means if you have a daughter or son and they're at school and you don't see them all the time, if you want to feel connected to them at any one moment, you can feel their heartbeat, their warmth. They can actually send you a hug with the actuators in the seat for bolsters. They could potentially blow you a kiss. You could feel a cool breeze on the back of your neck. There's this connectedness that you have at a human level, which is we wanted to create.
But how does the Alpha 5 represent sort of the future of DeLorean? And I've heard you say it's just the first one will do. There is more to come.
Alpha 5 is a moment in time that reflects the last 40 years of design evolution. The idea that we're changing the way technology consumes you, we're going to do it in a more humanistic way.
Now, we talked about this car. In 1981, DeLorean, it's a Back to the Future time machine. Of course, this is the Mr. Fusion edition.
Well, you all know the movie, you all know the story, 88 miles an hour, how many gigawatts it takes to get this thing going and travel through time. Could John DeLorean have ever imagined anything like this? And yes, this is a Mr. Fusion home energy reactor on the top. You can see where the lid pops off and you insert whatever fuel you're going to use. That's just a little cool, a little hot water mist right there, but wow.
150, I hear it. 150, 140, 150, 150 pounds and not anybody else all through, well done. 150 pounds and not down, but get button down the road, and get down 145.
All right, where are we going to go? We're at July 2nd, 2022, and the clock is set for November 5th, 1955. Do I want to jump in and go back and meet 5-year-old me? Not particularly.
So the interesting thing about this car, it is just a clone, but the guy who built it, it's built by Bob's Prop Shop in Dallas, actually took molds off of the original one that's in the Peterson Museum to make this. So it is very true to the original.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, meticulously transformed into an accurate recreation of the Mr. Fusion time machine. Also have a signed headliner as well. Ladies and gentlemen, here's 751.
By the way, that Mr. Fusion on top, that's actually a coffee bean grinder. That's how it started life.
Now that's a cool example of taking something very mundane and repurposing it. As the car sells for $155,000. On the original Batmobile, the exhaust on the Batmobile that George Barris designed, that big turbine-like exhaust, it was a 5-gallon paint can, repurposed.
Prop guys are so good at that, finding those average things that make a car very special. Yep, you made a time machine out of a DeLorean. There it goes.